Since 2007, the United States has said no to horse slaughter, and now it's estimated that there are more than 100,000 unwanted horses in the U.S.
Well, what happens to those animals? North Dakota is looking for a solution, but is horse slaughter the answer?
Ag reporter Sarah Gustin visits with those both for and against the humane harvest of horses.
The last horse slaughter facility in this country closed its doors in 2007. John Mittleiter with the North Dakota Department of Commerce says there is no law saying you can't process horses, so where's the problem? The meat needs to be inspected. Mittleiter says Congress did pass laws that don't allow any USDA funds to be used for inspecting. Without the USDA seal of approval, you can't distribute the meat, meaning you can't market the product. For some, the thought of horse processing is too tough to bear. For others, it makes sense.
As a horse person, we see that there needs to be someplace else other than just going out and disposing of these animals and throwing them in a pit. That's waste. I don't think 90% of Americans don't want to see waste, and that's what we see it as. It's just pure waste.
Frelichs have been raising quarter horses since the 40s. Roughly 100 brood mares roam these hills near Selfridge. Frelich says horses aren't bred for slaughter. They're bred for use. Pleasure riding, rodeo, and performance. But the reality is, no slaughter facility, no market.
We've seen a drop in price because people can't, on the other end, that buyers, they may not be able to find a home for their older horses or their unusable horses. So they're keeping them longer, and it's costing them more. So we've seen our market drop some too.
Frelich says the low market kept one mare on his ranch till she turned 26. By not killing the horse, Frelich says we're killing the number of breeders in the state. He says many have just given up.
It's not all about economics, but it has affected the economics of people raising horses because there's no place for them to go. You can't keep feeding the horse $200 worth of feed a year and get $50 in return, or maybe not even anything in return.
Frelich supports horse processing in North Dakota. He says there is a market overseas that we can help fill.
It's not unlike the beef industry. When we raise cows and we raise calves off of them, eventually they're going to run out of their time on earth here. There has to be a place for them to go too. Now, do we dispose of them and throw them in a pit? No.
On the opposing side, horses aren't seen as an item for quick disposal. They're viewed more as friends.
Cows get an ear tag. Horses get names, and that's what you do when you have a pet. You name it. Even the horses that come in here, they all have names when they come in. And to me, that's more of a pet. We don't kill our pets.
For the past 2 years, Triple H Horse Rescue has helped more than 100 neglected and unwanted miniature horses find a home. Ellison Smith is the founder of Triple H and doesn't believe in horse slaughter. Smith says there are other options like laying horses down, gelding incentive programs, and adoption.
There are unwanted horses, and there are old and chronically lame and injured horses that aren't going to find a home. Then I'm just saying that they should be humanely euthanized instead of slaughtered.
At Triple H, prevention is key. The rescue does not allow breeding. Smith says males are gelded and the mares leave with adoption contracts to not become bred.
We're not being overrun by cats and dogs. We're not going to be overrun by horses, but horses do live longer. And people have to understand, like with any animal, that comes with expense. Cliche, but if you can't feed them, don't breed them, and that's kind of our views.
During the 2009 session, the legislature did pass a bill to study the economics of an equine processing facility in the state. A task force made up of members from the Department of Commerce and state livestock organizations is digging into the issue, and it's taking a two-phase planned approach. Phase 1 studies the legal issues surrounding the topic, such as any regulations, as well as federal and state laws. Phase 2 involves the feasibility as well as developing business plans and finding existing facilities around the state that could be used.
From our perspective, one of the things that we try to look at is expansion of business opportunities in the state. So this would potentially take a resource that could be processed and utilized, probably not so much in the United States, but in foreign countries, and provide some jobs for citizens of the state of North Dakota.
The task force will report back during the 2011 session. It hasn't been confirmed, but there has been talk that there are parties interested in opening a processing plant in the state.
And Mittleiter says the legislation to perform an economic study of an equine processing facility in the state passed virtually unanimously in both chambers.